And we're both on screen.
Oh,
Good evening, everyone. Happy Friday. Hope you had a great week. Hello, Stephanie.
hello everyone. Hi, Matt.
Hope you all can see and hear us well. Thank you for a great lead up to this show. It seems black and white is one hell of a popular topic. We've had over 300 entries for this week's show, so I'll just say from now, it's not possible that we could include them all. If we did a throwaway 1 minute comment on each video, on each image, it would still be a 5 hour video. So I've had to cull it down to around about 50 images. So this is still going to be a fairly long show. So we're going to get right into it. We have 5 downloads that we're going to give away for this one. If you haven't already checked it out, this weekend I have my 4th of July sale on, and we have crazy deals up, courses for under $10. I think they're 50 to 90% off, but the bundles are mostly like 65 to 90% off. We've got a pack that has all of Steph's different courses in it for 69% off. You can check all of that out at the website. Now, before we get in and take a look at all of the black and white shots that we've narrowed down to the finalists, next week our theme is going to be hopefully just as popular. The theme's going to be people. So no excuses. You've taken a photo of a person at some point, whether it was black and white, whether it was candid, on the street, a portrait, a headshot, a college photo, whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as it's of a person as your main subject, then it qualifies. And we have a sponsor on for next week, KEH Camera, who I've been working with for a couple of years now. Going to be giving away a couple of $100 in vouchers. I'll also have some runners-up prizes of downloads. You guys probably know that they normally do these events where they'll buy your used equipment on the spot. So you go to where they're having an event. I did one with them in Austin. Was it Austin? I think it was Austin. No, it wasn't. Where was it? I can't remember now. Somewhere in Texas. And you bring in your gear, they appraise it. If they make you an offer, you haggle. If you make an agreement, they write you a check there and then, and you go home. But with COVID, there is no going out to big events like that. So they started a new thing where you can schedule a video call with one of their buyers. And I actually did one last week. Let me just show you a little behind the scenes here. You get on, and I showed my gear to Brent, who's their senior buyer, takes a look at all the different aspects, gave me a quote. There was probably 4 or 5 things that I was happy with the prices, and I sold a couple that wasn't worth it, so I kept them. And then you just ship it all off and they pick it up from your door, so you don't even have to leave the house. So we've teamed up and they're going to do a buying event on the 17th and 18th of July. You can sign up, have an appraisal, and there's no harm, no foul. It's really a no pressure situation, because if you don't like the price, you're just on the end of a webcam. You can say no thanks and goodbye. And if you do, then they'll just pick it up from your door. You don't have to go anywhere or do anything. So pretty sweet. They'll pop a link in the description there. You can check it out and register if you want to get involved and offload some of your gear either for cash or for store credit to get other new fancy shiny things. So here we are,
that's so
Stephanie.
cool. I didn't know. That's awesome. Too bad I don't have like a ton of gear that I need offloaded.
I feel
So
like you're pointing at me right now. Why do I feel attacked right now? I'm
I
feeling a
didn't
little
say
attacked.
anything.
Well, I have 5 or 6 things fewer now, so... Oh, before I forget, what are you guys at home having to drink to celebrate the end of the week? Now, because I'm a fancy boy, I got
Oh, so
myself
fancy.
a can of Delirium Tremens Belgian Ale. So cheap here. The cans are a
Whoa.
lot cheaper than the bottles, so I went with a 4-pack
Wait,
of
did you say
cans.
delirium?
Yeah, it's called Delirium Tremens. It's
Oh.
often
You get
rated.
delirious?
It's pretty strong, but I don't really go by that this carries any weight, but it's often rated as the world's top beer. So, whatever.
What?
But for my wife, Oh, I do also have a water, photorescent, so we're on team water as well. I have a cheeky little cocktail. We got a one of these young coconuts from the shop, so I just filled it up with booze for her, and here you go, a little tropical cocktail. Please
Oh,
enjoy. No, thank you.
I mixed myself a drink today. It's
Oh, it looks like milk.
yeah, yeah. It's milkis mixed with lychee calpico with soju and Korean Sprite.
Oh, well, we
Yeah.
got our coconut from H Mart, so it's all Korean-y too. There you go.
Oh, yeah, that's where I just got it from H Mart. I just mixed a bunch of stuff and oh, Manny's here. Hey, Manny.
Oh my God.
Hello.
Hi, Manny. No, I am going, Manny. It was my excited anticipation. I heard that you were coming. I saw the red carpet outside, so I assumed you were coming. Thanks for joining us. So we're going to take a look at your shots. As I said, we had like over 320, I think, entries finally. Culled it back to 50 or so. So we better get into it. And I did include a couple of mine, but because we have 50, I'm not going to dwell on them. But people have suggested that I include some of mine with the theme. So it's, more food for thought and for sharing. It's not that mine are necessarily would win the competition. It's all subjective. But let's switch over. This first one, how do I do this? Fat fingers. One sip of delirium and I've already lost it.
Oh no.
So this shot I took in Hong Kong with an curator of a museum who is a huge fan of Murakami. And your camera has just gone all wonky again, Steph, so I've got to
Oh
fix it.
man. I guess.
So, as I've said so many times, I don't think there's any shame in taking inspiration from others' work. I'm sure the Mr. Ortiz would agree. There's so much great work out there. Being inspired by others and then interpreting it in your own way is just normal. So, in this case, she really wanted a fishnet theme. I wanted it to have this gritty look. I'm not suggesting that this gives you the same result as film, but this is shot at some insanely high ISO to get the kind of texture going on. Very, very simple shot. Next is our absolutely, where is my fat finger mouse? Absolutely shameless plug and a black and white for
Oh,
the...
God, it's me.
I know, right? Those legs, however, were
Oh,
not. Yes, we cover all kinds of things, including lots of black and white and people photography, so it ties in nicely for this week and next week's theme. So if you want to check them out, even if you have a couple of the courses, they're on such a big discount at the moment, you can buy a bundle and still be saving a bunch, even if you had a couple in there already. Next up, Alexi Mateo Cruz. Where do you reckon this is? Whenever I see a mountain shaped like that, I always think it's Fuji, but I'm sure this isn't. It does
I
actually
know,
have,
same here.
says
Oolong
Sumlang
Lake.
Lake. I'm going to say somewhere
Yeah.
maybe the Philippines. Totally guessing.
Oh man, you're so good. Yeah, it's the Philippines. Jeez.
How do you know?
I just Googled it.
Oh, boom. And I am. I'm really, really good. So this looks like it's a bit of a long exposure to get the water smooth. We're getting some of the clouds blurred out a little, which I really like the result. The leaves, if you're going to have clouds moving, the leaves are going to move as well. Or I don't know what Kate is giggling about in the corner, but yes. I really like this. It has a look to it like it's film, maybe just the grain or the grittiness in the reflection here. But I like it. It's nicely balanced. I'd probably just clean up this top corner. I don't think that is adding anything. If it weren't for these trees giving a nice fill on the right, I would probably bring it in a little to make it take out a little of the headroom. But otherwise, nice one.
I
Barry
like the framing.
Miller. Squirrel.
And plus, it kind of reminds me like of a black and white version of a possible Bob Ross painting.
Oh, that's that
you even-
big curly head guy?
Yeah, the painter. He like
I've seen
flicks
the
the
memes.
brush.
He what's
Very,
the brush?
very calming. He flicks the brush.
I don't.
You gotta beat the brush, and then he just like flicks it, and
Okay.
it's just. You don't watch a lot of Bob Ross. It's fine. It's okay. Anybody? No?
Oof, tough room.
Crickets? Cool. Okay. Anyways, next, Barry Miller.
I would love to hear more about this, Steph, but 50 shots, we better keep motoring. Barry
I
Miller,
know.
squirrel, cute little guy. I like the vantage point, well controlled highlights here. It can be really difficult with backlighting, but here I feel the exposure is working. One thing, and I'm not going to mention it in full detail every time, but think about if a central composition is going to work best for your image. So on a shot like this, it's not super wide, but you do have a little bit of leeway there. So just, if you want to keep the same aspect ratio, would putting the little guy more to one side give it a bit more pop, or potentially the other side to get rid of more of the bright highlights. Central composition is often the way things fall when you have the strongest focus points on your camera right in the center of frame, but often putting the eyes away from the center of the frame gives you a more dynamic shot. What do you think, Steph?
Squirrel.
Excellent.
It's just so cute. I always wanted to touch a squirrel, by the way. Like, that's one of those, like, random things.
Yeah, it is.
Just because the tail looks so fluffy, but then they also kind of scare me.
Don't they have rabies?
I believe so. But still, I see, like, there's, like, those YouTube videos where people, like, have pet squirrels. And it's just, I want to know.
How strong is your cocktail, Steph?
I mean, it's soju and it tastes very good, and I don't know, it's very, very dangerous. Sorry, guys.
Soju is
Had a
not
long
that
week.
strong and you've watered it down, but yes, I know it's been a while between drinks. Excellent. Now, I have to say, and I don't want to be a headmaster, but I want to see hundreds of entries for our people comp. I would love to have Manny, if he's still in the room, send something in for us to discuss as well. But please do me a favor and rename the file. I don't know if it was just the volume of entries we had, but I had a bunch that were sent to the wrong email address. I had a bunch that were sent in that weren't black and whites, that weren't renamed, that were tiny little files, that were PSD files, all kinds of different things that means we couldn't include them on top of the 320 that we could. So please just check out macgranger.com/live. I try to keep it really simple. Just rename the file, resize it, send it in as a JPEG, job's done. Okay, let's take a look after our squirrel. This one is Brad Norling, and this has a nice brushy tail hair, but not. I like the eye pattern here. This is, again, it's fairly central composition with the eyes. I reckon just bringing it down a wee little bit like this, we're already losing the top of the head. Probably gives it just that much more oomph. Really will bring us into her eyes there, having them on those parallels. And I'm guessing Manny in the chat is saying okay to entering a shot. We should have you on as a guest to review some portraits with us if you're available Fridays at 6 sometime, Manny. That'd be fun. This one from Charles Ashton. It's always
hold on, Matt. Apparently they didn't see the image. They can't see it.
Oh, my bad, because... Oh, I know what went wrong. I'm an idiot. Oh, I did it again. There we go. So this was what I cropped it to, and the original was out here. So just bringing it in that little bit. Sorry, guys. It was actually, the original was way out here. So I just brought it into kind of this kind of a crop. Sorry about that. There's too many things for my old brain to deal with in one time. Now,
There's so many pictures, guys.
This one is quite interesting. So this, it's Cuba, obviously. The chair is so familiar. They have the same chair in the really old barber store in the main street of Bhutan. Is it every small town, whatever country, the photos they have on the wall of the hairstyles are hairstyles you will never see in the public. It's like the kind of outfits that they wear on runway shows. Nobody's wearing that to the beach. You don't need a fish tank on your head or in your boots. So yeah, I would say 90% of the customers who go there get a buzz cut like this young man and aren't getting sparkled beauty on the side. But also interesting that we've got a Che Guevara poster here and what looks like, I don't know, is it? It's kind of hard to tell. It could be just because I've been watching the documentary lately, but it kind of looks like a rabbi on the back wall.
I don't know. I just think it's really trippy because I'm assuming there's mirrors on both sides of the wall because it's just right,
Yes.
or they have photos. Yeah, I don't know. This one like really confused me. It really made me kind of like look at the photo.
Yeah, I think there's mirrors on each side, which then it's like when you're in a lift and you just see like 50 layers of yourself going out and out and out. I like it. There's a lot to drink in. It would be, I think, maybe a little stronger if we had his eye contact. The only eye contact we kind of have in the shot is this woman with this on the Schwarzkopf poster. But yeah, I do think this works as a black and white. Now, this is a good one actually to jump in on. One of the reasons why I think sometimes people will ask, when do you go for color versus black and white? And my answer is that, after a while, you have an eye for it and you want your shot in black and white this time around. But as a general rule, if the color is going to add to the image, definitely leave it in color. But sometimes taking the color out, you can really focus in. So if this was like a green and pink floor, which it quite possibly could have been, and then he's got a red t-shirt, and then every one of these pictures is colored, it would just be way too busy to drink it all in. Here, it becomes about shapes and light and shadow, and we probably wouldn't even notice the little shadow patterns here on the wall on the color version because it would be just such a busy shot. Any other thoughts on this one, Stefan?
No, it was just really trippy to look at.
Charles Young. I assume just entering this one because it's me and it's instantly going to get shown. It's really interesting that I'm seeing the feed, it doesn't show the sidebar. So yeah, those of you who commented in the past, it would be nice to see the histogram. Above my head, you should be seeing it because that's where it is in Lightroom. But for whatever reason, the toolbar isn't picked up by the software I'm using, so sorry for that. How many cats do you see there, Steph?
Is that a trick question? Oh shoot. 3, but then
There's 5.
what?
1.
Oh wait, there's one to the. Oh my
2,
god, what
3,
the hell?
4, and that's 1 hiding behind this one. 5.
Like, what?
Don't mess with the master. Let me just double check there's no others hiding in the shadows. This is important, all right? Yeah, 5.
How many cats before you're like a crazy cat person?
I think it's to do with the percentage of your time spent thinking about them, not the number of cats you have. So, it's got to be something to do with like a ratio of number of cats to number of human friends. So I may only have 2 cats, but the fact that I only have 1 friend still puts me in that territory,
Oh, okay.
I think so anyway.
I guess that makes sense.
I wonder where this is. Can anyone in the audience from this character on the sign, is that like an Arabic script or something, or is that just maybe a picture? I can't tell. I like it. The only thing would be having the back wall in focus and the cats out. It kind of does feel a little otherworldly through a peephole type of a shot, but I think it's got a lot of good elements, but I don't think it's quite there for me. This one from David Robertson. Was it the name of a famous basketball player in the 90s? Robertson. pretty sure it was.
don't know.
think
I don't
had,
really know sports.
like NBA.
Baseball.
Anyway, someone let me know. So at
Baseball
first,
pitcher.
you just Googled it?
Oh yeah, I Google
Okay.
everything.
Sheesh.
What?
So when I first saw this one, I thought it was like from the thumbnail, I thought it was like a pile of potatoes being lit from a skylight or something. Like we were in a basement and that top lot of light was a grate coming through from overhead, but it's actually a whole big bunch of bubbles. So it's an interesting effect. I reckon you could probably push your highlights a little. We're nowhere near having whites in this shot, just to give it a little bit of oomph. Yes, San Antonio Spurs. Is that who I was thinking of? David Robinson. Damn it, so close. Thanks, Mal Media. You're the man. Dragway, nice to have you submitting again. I reckon we'll do 2 more here on a nice little roll, then we'll jump out and take a look at some questions. So, interesting effect, really shallow depth of field. For my taste, probably a bit overdone on the skin editing, but it is well done. I don't know. I think that it works beautifully. The tones work beautifully as a black and white, that fair hair as well. But it's kind of, and this isn't really a diss, but it's a beautiful woman, well lit, heavily edited in a spotlight. There's not a whole lot going on in the shot. It's not kind of complex. You've got a background that we can tell is diffuse, but we're getting nothing from it. So, I mean, it almost may as well be just shot in studio at that point. And all of this black background, I don't really get a moody vibe from it personally, so I wonder if it's really adding anything. Could bringing this in as being like a, it's not a 4x5, but something like that as more of a portrait-oriented shot, does that even work? You know, brings all of our attention in on her. What do you think, Steph?
I think it would look better as a colored image. And I agree with like the over editing of like the skin. I know a lot of photographers that's like their style when it comes to editing, but sometimes I feel like just seeing the natural beauty of a model is much preferred. You can smooth it out, but not too much.
So I feel glad that we can discuss it like this, and I know Dragway enters all the time. He's a great photographer. This is nothing personal, and just as a reminder, because we have a lot of people who may be joining us for the first time tonight, this is all subjective. So Steph and I aren't here as overlords of the photo world telling you what's right or wrong by any means. It's just 2 opinions that you can add to your wealth of personal opinions, and you can take it or leave it. So you might agree with what we say on a couple of photos, you might get something useful from what we say on a couple, you might think we're idiots on a bunch of photos, that's all fine. It's just a discussion, and we would welcome your feedback in the chat. Now, one reason why I think maybe this works as a black and white better than a color, but maybe not, seeing he's lit it. I have a photo coming up, one of mine, that I was going to show another reason to use black and white, so I'll mention that when it comes up. Oh, I should mention, there are a couple of breasts in this video, so anyone, there's nothing,
Oh my God.
there's nothing gratuitous, there's nothing pornographic, there's no genitals or anything like that, but there is a little bit of partial nudity in some of the photos this week, so just a heads up if anyone's offended by that.
I think this image actually would look a lot better cropped in. Like from the elbow up.
The elbow up?
Elbow up.
So, what do you mean? So only having her head and shoulders?
Oh wait, I was talking about Dragway's image.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was on to the Rudy Nudie one.
You're on to the next one.
That's okay. Elbow up. So her left elbow, camera right.
Yes.
Thank you for the feedback. When you see the next image, when I take the feedback of from the elbow up, it becomes quite an unusual image. Yeah, I dig it.
Like, whoa there.
I dig it. That her arm is really nicely framing the shot there. Good call, Steph.
Yay.
Okay, on to the boobies. And how did you want this one cropped? Just right up on the elbow, right? Yeah, I think we're going
Just
to kind of
right
lose.
up on the
We're going to
elbow.
lose a whole lot of resolution on this one. But yeah, I mean, I can see that. Sure, sure, why not? I do think you could. You've got a lot of room to play on this one. So let's just see if you've added space to this or if that's in the shot. We can tell by taking a look at the shadows. Okay, so you could. So first of all, I think it could use good half a stop or stop of extra exposure, but then maybe keep your aspect ratio, but put her off to one side a little. I wonder if that already gives a bit more of a balance to it. So, here we
Is
was
this at a
one.
shootout?
Excuse me?
Or like with it looks like this photo might have been taken with like I don't know, maybe a shootout or at a workshop or something. She's looking that way. I feel like this is kind of unless she's looking at another photographer. But I don't know, just the pose is a little off unless like multiple people are taking photos of her.
So, when you have it's like the most classic thing in art. I'm not meaning to be, a bro here, but when you have a beautiful, fit, nude woman, it's like the classic subject. There are different tropes that people go along, and the kind of aloof. I mean, I think it kind of works. I don't know that the latter really does anything. What I was going to add was so we can see here, I think you have painted in a bit of a highlight here to give toning through the stomach. I actually don't know that you need that. One thing that Steph and I often talk about, and we cover it a lot in the implied course, which by the way you can get at a big deal at the moment, sell,
Yes.
is using light and shadow to reveal and conceal. So whether it's using natural light and you're doing normal portraits, or whether you're using flash or natural light and you're doing implied shots, here the whole side of her body is being lit and exposed and giving a great line to the image. And then the natural shadow falling across her stomach and privates gives the image modesty. So this would be a very different shot if she had an underwear band on, or if she was like awkwardly trying to like turning away from the camera or using her hand to provide modesty. Here the shadow does it for you, and I think it works well, and that is down to the posing. This is one of mine. I just included this as something different because it's not something that we had, and I guess maybe to acknowledge that, in some of the shots as we go through here, I might say that to my taste, some of them are a bit too dark or a bit too bright. To my taste, this is how I wanted this, but to a lot of people, this would be too dark. So this is a slightly slower shutter speed to get the fur moving as the little macaque shakes off the snow, get a tiny little bit of movement in the dancing around snow, and we really only have the little dots of snow that are being caught by light anywhere near a highlight in the shot. This one is about to jump in or just got out of the onsen. Cute little thing. Yes, so what are you giggling at, Steph?
No, it's just so cute.
You need to go to Japan. I'm telling you right
I
now.
want to. I know. I feel like things are gonna be so different because of like COVID.
Japan, like a lot of Southeast Asia, have training in this kind of thing. If I had a choice right now, I would rather have gone through the last 3 months easy in Hong Kong, even though it's so close to the epicenter or the origin of the outbreak. They just know how to handle it. There's no governor having to go on the news every day to remind people, please keep wearing your mask. Please, think about other people. I know it's a little bit uncomfortable. People just do it.
Oh my god. Don't even get me started on that stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, let's just look at beautiful images.
When flights are safe is my main thing. I'm not going to go somewhere that's like, I'm not going to Florida right now. But once the flying part is safe, I can't wait to start traveling again once it's safe. So let's take a wee little look at some questions. Big up to Juan, who is in the chat, who is helping us moderate this and choosing out questions. As you can see, I'm barely managing to scroll through the images and keep them showing on the screen, so I'm not able to keep up with all of the chat. I'll jump in here and there, but Juan sends me through a bunch. So, Richard Wintle, That's for the US only, I imagine. I assume that so KH will buy anyone's gear, and I'm pretty sure they will sell and ship to other places. But I assume, yes, that the service to have your gear picked up from your front doorstep by FedEx would have to be for the 50 states or whatever, mainland America. It costs a lot, but I'm guessing, and this is just my guess, that the fact that they're not going out and putting on events and doing buying events that way kind of offsets the extra cost of having the gear picked up. But the cool thing for us as photographers, and like I say, I genuinely sold a bunch of gear to them that I'm not using, is that it's no, if like I am, actually, I love to negotiate, so it's not a problem for me. But if you're not someone who's into confrontation, it's just a video call. The guys are really friendly. He'll say, we can offer you $450 for that. You can ask if they'll improve it. And if they say yes or no, then you can either take it or leave it. And there's kind of no harm. You haven't sent the gear off. You haven't wasted any time. And yeah, you just pack it up and it gets picked up and you get a check. So it's a pretty sweet little deal. Manny is saying Matt can pose for you. Matt can pose for you like that. Believe he means him. Okay, I don't really understand that one.
He was referring to the image, the promo image of me holding the bed sheet.
Manny, I will pay for your ticket. Come on down, mate. I would love to shoot you like that. But we might just use like a little hand towel or something. How about that? Jimmy Picks, for us old people that don't know computers that well, can you please do a video on how to submit photos showing us how to resize the file? Sorry if this sounds like a dumb question, not at all. In the past, I have actually done a video about how to resize your images, but I might just make one and put it on the submission page just for you guys, whether or not I actually launch it on YouTube. I think that's a fine question. I don't want your lack of experience with editing software being the thing that stops you from being involved. So thank you, that's a great suggestion. Caspar, can you please do a portrait photo video with the Sony 600 f4 or 400 2.8? Well, as a matter of fact, young little Stephanie and I went to the launch of the 400mm lens. That degenerate Manny might have been there, I think, I'm not sure. And we did use the 400 2.8, and it was actually versus the Canon and the Nikon version. So if you search that up, you will find it, and that was fun. Actually, I don't know if Manny was there at that one. I know Jared and Tony and Chelsea were there.
I think he was.
That's why, because it's an important product, so they only invited the A team, most likely.
Ooh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So thank you for your questions, guys. Let's jump back in and take a look at some more images. And do let me know in the chat if any of the images, as they're scrolling through, there's one you like. Feel free to give your feedback. This is meant to be a discussion. It's not a right and wrong thing. So if you want to suggest, oh, that might look good if you did this or that, there's a couple of hundred people in the room, and a diversity of ideas is a good thing. You don't have to agree with everything. We can, share our thoughts and just put it out there. Robert Popper is saying, nice shave, you look good. Thank you. That's just because I've lived like an absolute bomb for the last 2 months, and you can see my face again. Okay, another little nudity trigger warning on this one from Gary Martin. Now, there's something about this that feel like, I don't know, is it meant to be, is she standing against the wall? Because on one hand, her physique does kind of look like she could be standing, but then the hair doesn't. It looks like she's actually maybe laying, and amazingly
I think she's on the
gravity.
floor, but because of, I guess how the photos present it, it looks like she could possibly be standing.
What do you guys think on this one? Let's just take a little look at her rotation. Where are we? Ooh, little tease of what's coming. What do you think of... Okay, so I agree that doesn't quite work. That's interesting. That's it. So I actually think that this is probably the better of the compositions. But then if you're going to go like this, and it is already a little bit, what am I looking at now? I apologize, doing this is going to end up cropping her foot. But you could actually have her on whatever angle you want through the frame then. So you could put her more or less, or... So I realize I'm cropping her off and this isn't ideal, but you do have all of these options then. One thing that jumped out at me on this one, and I think I'm going to use this as inspiration for my own, I think a really high contrast black and white implied nude where tan marks are providing all of the highlights could be just implied but erotic as hell. Like, there's something about the tan line. It almost looks like she could be wearing white underwear in that shot, but it's just the tan. So I need to find a beach bum to shoot that one with. Any thoughts on the poses here, Steph?
Yeah, actually, that is interesting. I feel like modeling 101 is just you try to avoid getting tan lines as much as possible. And if you're going to tan as evenly as possible, just because I mean, if a photographer has to go into post and have to kind of like match tones throughout, it's just too much. But actually, yeah, that is a good concept to just have like those crazy tan lines. And plus, those bathing suits nowadays, crazy. People don't think about that before they buy these like fancy bathing suits. I'm like, oof, tan lines. Oh gosh.
Well, I won't give away what we were shooting, but the other day when we were both wearing interesting outfits, I ended up with some odd tan lines, and you must have. Now, I'm just cropping this one in because I don't want to bring up the highlights and accidentally expose nudity that they've meant to exclude. But okay, so there's quite a rough editing job there to put a shadow over her face, which I think you could just fix that up a little bit to make it look more natural. But this line is kind of a telltale that you had gone in and done something on that one. But thank you for the inclusion, Gary. Graham Green, Monsieur. Cool concept. I think I've done a tutorial quite like this one with the whiskey glass and the noir look. I think Steph would go into this anyway. So a couple of things. I really like the second lights that you've put in to catch the feather and to give it a nice lift, to give a second light coming so it's not just lit from one direction. I have a funny One Direction joke, which I might share later. I feel like the editing on the eyes is a little over, but I feel like you're so close. A little bit of just refinement on the spot would have really lifted this. So it is almost a really cool, really polished shot, but the jacket, the sleeve, all the stuff in the hand, it just, those last little bits of refinement make it look a little bit homemade. If you had, like, I don't know, I don't generally have a cigar and a whiskey in one hand. I would probably just have them hold one. And then having the suit and shirt properly fitting would tell the story better of an actual guy hiding in a house being lit by a street light rather than a guy posing for a photo. What do you think, Steph?
Yeah, I agree. It's just the tiny, tiny details. It's like so close. And I know like a lot of photographers, they usually direct like models to just like look right outside, but for me I feel like you always try to square your eyes as much as possible because you don't want too much of the whites to show because it's kind of like off-putting to see so much. So he doesn't directly have to look outside. He could kind of cheat it and kind of look at an angle, still have his face that way. But it's just
I think it's that, but I think it's
sleeves.
also the sleeves, and I actually think that
Yeah.
the eyes have been brightened in post as well. I could be wrong, but that's the feeling I get. Adam suggesting closing up the right a little bit. So I think bringing it in like that works quite well. So that's all a lot of feedback that might all sound negative, Graham, but we should probably wind back and say 95% of this is awesome. The concept, the execution, the effort you went to, it's like almost there. If it was just a crap shot, I wouldn't have shown it. And if it was just a crap shot, we wouldn't spend 5 minutes giving you last little refinements on it. I think it's a great shot. Just those last little bits could really put it right up there. But I'm going to give that a pick anyway. Nicely done. Now, Hank Popick. Now, this, I don't know if this is going to sound like an insult, but I don't mean it as one. This looks like the kind of shot that would be really popular at a camera club. I was a member of a camera club. I respect them. I think it's a great way to learn and be part of a community and share your work. But this is the kind of shot that I saw win often, you know, where the whole background's just been blacked out. It's been quite heavily processed in lots of areas, and there's lots of little artifacts around the place. Whilst I quite like the final result, I feel like this was a shot that took a lot of work to salvage it to this point, and I wonder what the original actually looked like and how much time they spent, because the artifacts are all around this, that it's had to have the background removed and that there was a lot going on, and the eye has had so much done to it. So I still kind of liked it because I think it's a beautiful animal, but it also feels like it's just the head, you know, with no neck feathers.
Yeah.
It kind of feels
It
like
doesn't
a
look real. It
trophy.
looks like it could be a stuffed like eagle. Like, and I don't know, it's too smooth.
Yeah.
Like have a feather stick out or something. I don't know. It's like it's just I feel like we could crop this out and then put it onto another background
Whoa,
and another background
I just
and
saw
another background.
a whole bunch of comments here about the camera club thing. I sincerely wasn't meaning that as a diss. Like literally have seen this kind of an edit do really well in camera clubs. And just to wind back so that Hank doesn't think I was making fun of him or anyone else in the room, the fact that I am a professional photographer and have a YouTube channel pretty much came down to one turning moment at a camera club that I was a member of. I won Best Digital of the Year and Best Newcomer. The judge happened to be the CEO of the company that distributed a bunch of brands and the former CEO of Nikon Australia. And he gave me access to his marketing lead, which then let me get all of this equipment to be able to do reviews on. And the confidence I got from winning the comp and the access to gear is what built the channel. And I have a lot of great friends from the camera club. So I sincerely wasn't meaning that as a diss. It's just, that's what it evoked in me. So yeah, no hard feelings, I hope. I mean, I spent like almost a decade in university. I'm not one to look down on people going to places to continue their education. Isaac Weissman. So I don't know if he is winning or losing, but I don't want to step out on the canvas against him. So I feel like I don't know if we're missing focus or if it's just that that's at ISO 2000. That's not too high. I get that at this kind of an event you mightn't have time to keep changing your settings, but here ringside, when the down moment, you probably didn't need to be at 500th of a second. Maybe you could have dropped that to drop the ISO. And I don't know what's going on with this bucket, but that may be the jankiest edit we've seen so far.
Yeah, I was wondering that too. I was like, what is that like blob there? And I was like, oh, that's a edit done on that.
So I dig it, but all of the interest for me is the boxer, the gaze down, basically him. If there was a way to not have all of the scramble around him, you know what would be cool? And I have no idea. It's been 2 decades since I was at a boxing match, but if he was really sitting reasonably still and everyone else was a frenzy, a slightly slow shutter speed to have him almost sharp and everyone else kind of slightly blurred, I think could be like an epic Time magazine cover kind of image. What do you think, Steph?
That would be really cool. I think if they just, I can't tell if the people are going into the ring or out of the ring, but if they're going into the ring to kind of like get him ready to continue the fight, I think waiting till that part and then taking a shot of that moment would be really cool. Um, I don't know what's going on, but there's like that. I've never seen gloves so shiny.
There's other things. So I think he's tried to reduce distractions because this has been blocked
Mm.
out. Oh, by the way, this guy looks just like my cousin Michael. Hi, Mike. And then I was thinking maybe this was taken now, but I think this was taken in 2013 because the guy's wearing gloves. But I guess it would be hard to do boxing with face masks on, right? Anyway,
Oh
thank you
yeah.
for the submission. James Gamble, this is another one that feels like the kind of shot that would do well at a camera club. The border I only ever seem to see in camera clubs. The texture, which it's kind of almost no longer a photograph in my mind. It's kind of a digital art. The way the dress is processed here, it almost reminds me of, I don't know, a Photoshop version of Monet, um, impressionist painting. Um, so I kind of like it, but again, I feel like this is a whole lot of work in post to make an okay shot look like
Mhm.
something quite unique at the end. Um, well, what do you think on the poses? And so this one, this hand I think is kind of fine, although the gloves are a little bit Michael Jackson Thriller. This one looks like Salt Bay dropping some garnish on his dish.
Yeah, I mean, I think is that the pinky that's a little off-putting. Um, Pinky out fancy. I mean, if she was holding the dress, then I think that could have worked to kind of have a pose like that. I just think too much editing done on this image. I feel like I want to see the original.
So if this were so there's clearly a theme going on though, right? It has the feeling of a piece of fabric, the actual print, the frame of the image. Her outfit, the wagon wheel, the woodlog barn, her dress, all of that is with a theme. So I don't know that the theme continues on the edit. If it's meant to just be kind of old worldy, then so be it. Um, Having said all of that, I do think this works probably better as a black and white than it would as a color if we had all of the color from the
Mhm.
wooden building coming through. Excuse me, beer burp. Two more images and let's jump back and take a look at some questions. Jeff Klaus. This is what Santa's house looks like in summer, I guess. Um, so, super wide angle. What are we dealing with here? 14 millimeter f2.8, middle of the day, 1600th of a second. Um, I mean, you have all of the options there. You might want to stop down to f5.6 just to make sure the house is nice and sharp, but I think it's fine. The only thing, I don't know that there's enough to hold me on the image to want to explore it. Maybe if you got down lower, took a step to your left, a tiny step forward and crouched, so you had the fallen apart wheelbarrow on the bottom right, but taking a more prominent position in the scene, and then the house kind of more balanced. Really, those two elements then would fill up the whole frame, and I'm guessing in close like that, maybe we would get rust and texture from the wheelbarrow. What do you think, Steph?
I just think like haunted cabin out in the middle of nowhere.
Oh, I have a little
Like this
story.
this cabin could have been like the cabin in the woods. Like it looks exactly the same as the poster image. It's scary.
So I had a guy in my hometown who was, anyway, you don't need all the backstory, but he was a really straight shooter, like not a gambling man kind of guy, an amazing athlete and very, very fit and strong. But he challenged a guy, I bet you whatever amount you want that I can load things up so heavy or whatever I want into the wheelbarrow, and then I'll be able to pick it up and wheel it and jog around the block 2 times that you wouldn't even be able to lift it and move a foot. And the other guy's like, "Ah, no way, that's impossible." Any guess what it was? Or like who won the bet?
You?
I wasn't the guy he was betting. He was betting someone else.
Oh.
But so the guy took the bet and then he picked the guy up and threw him in the wheelbarrow. The end. You can't pick yourself up in a wheelbarrow. That's true though.
Wow.
Okay, one more image and we'll take a look at some questions. Jeremy Newman. Now, where do you reckon this is? I really don't know. Let's have a guess. I'm not going to look at the chat in case Jeremy's here. Just from the costume. I really don't know. I want to guess two that I don't think actually share that much in common, but I want to guess Myanmar and Sri Lanka. What do you think? Thailand. Wife is guessing Thailand.
I don't have any guesses. I have not gone out enough to really make an educated guess.
Wow.
I'm just being honest.
Jeremy, if you're in the room, give us a little shout out. Let us know where this was taken or what the costume is. I like it. I would probably, on one hand, I would like to see the person in the top right and the mesh that they're wearing that's creating that cool diffuse background. But on the other hand, if we're not going to see them and this is the file that we have to work with, I would probably, let's just unlock the proportions.
I didn't even notice the person in the top right. Oh my gosh.
Oh my God, Stephanie, what's going on?
After you said, I was like, oh, that's an arm. Didn't see that.
Okay, so we're having lots of guesses. Thailand, Burma. Do we actually have Jeremy in the room? I haven't seen the author. Maybe they're just guesses, but cheers. I like it. Reminder, Steph, any that you want to be put into the running as finalists, tell me, and I'll mark them with a pick. Was there any in those first ones that you want me to revisit whilst they're a little fresh?
No.
All right, let's switch out and take a look at some questiones. Photo Recip, can you plan an f1.2 contest? What does that mean? Shots taken at f1.2? I don't think I would do that because most people don't have an f1.2 lens. Oh, this is an interesting one. Terry asks Matt, do you have a preferred time of day to take pictures specifically for black and white? Well, that's really interesting.
Oh, good job, Terry.
Maybe not. There's places and there's times of day and times of year if I'm like shooting street. So for example, if you're shooting in Sydney Financial District, the afternoons in winter are a great time because you get long shadows because of the orientation of the street and the position of the sun. If you're shooting in Hollywood in the afternoon, you get really different shots on either side of the street because of the light pattern. I don't have a one-size-fits-all answer to that. What I can say is that, like everyone, Murphy's Law kicks in a lot. So recently it was actually the video that went live yesterday, I think, or maybe the previous one with Yasmin, where I had her come in on a day that was forecast to be overcast because I didn't want to be using diffusion. I just wanted to be able to shoot and get around really quickly. And then when it turned out to be kind of hard and contrasty, and then I'm like, okay, so let's move to this bridge underpass. There's a shot I want that needs really contrasty light to cast a cool shadow pattern. And by the time we got there, the clouds had come and we didn't get that shot. So we had kind of shitty harsh light in the park and then soft light in, the opposite places. So, any questions for Steph? Hit her up, guys, if you have questions
about... You gotta love Murphy's Law.
He's a dick, that guy. If you got questions about modeling, about running a YouTube channel, about martial arts, about Philadelphia finally winning the insert sporting team competition, something or other, then please let us know. Terry asking, there's a lot of spots that we do a lot of outdoor portraits. What's our favorite spot? Probably the 6 or 8 regular locations that you can spot are all within, 15 minutes walking distance of my studio. So that's why we often choose them, especially now when it's harder to coordinate a bunch of people.
Yeah, no people and no noise would be preferred.
Jimmy is asking, would you consider changing the rules from taking the theme photo from when you announce it to the day before the show? So you mean taking it that week? I used to make the competition be it had to be shot in the month. For something like black and white, that can work. But, with this, some people are in areas unaffected, others can barely leave the house. For some themes, I think that would be a little bit too restrictive unless we made it has to be shot this week and the theme is inside your home, something like that. I just got a notification that Matt Granger is live. That's handy. 53 minutes ago. All right. Any other questions coming through? Something about a random fart for Steph. I don't really understand that one. Okay.
I don't know.
Adam, do a camera phone competition. We've done that before, but that's a good one for the future. Next week is for sure going to be a people theme. Another one suggesting a theme idea of before, straight out of camera, and comparing it to the edit, so basically an edit comp. I have also done that. It makes it difficult, especially if you're trying to have people, you have to then decide, do you have them submit one image that has them side by side, and a lot of people don't have that capability, or how are you going to do it? I am definitely open to that. It would be better to have the co-host on that one be an editor, and I have someone lined up for the future, so we might do that then. So send us more questions and let's take a look at some more pictures. Dun, 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 dun. Thank you, Steph, for putting that in my head.
No problem. That's what I'm here for.
This one's just here to screw with Steph. Now, Jim, I included this one because I checked and it worked okay despite the really low resolution, but hopefully it's going to stream okay on YouTube. What do you think on this, Steph? Spooky, spooky witch?
It's interesting. It's like she almost looks like she's photoshopped in, but not at the same time. I don't know. But then there's like light on her face, and it's like, I'm confused. Can you explain?
No, I think you're right. I think the face has been lit up and the neck has been darkened down. There's an interesting pattern on the hat coming through there that's been hidden in edit. It's almost there, but I feel like if you really want it to be spooky, then I just lost my voice. Then shooting it at a different time of day or playing, adding light to put her into more of a spotlight could make it even more dramatic. I like it. I just feel like she's just not quite as impactful in the scene as she ought to be. So what if we... Now this is going to look terrible, but if we just really lazily throw in a vignette just to show, where am I? This is not something that I ever do. Post-crop vignette. something like that to really emphasize her position in the frame. That's kind of a rough and dirty one. Juris Mecca. So smoky. That can't be good for you. Kind of a cool effect though. So here we have a lot of midtones, no real blacks and no real whites in the shot. What do you think of this just from a tonal point of view, Stephanie?
I feel like it just needs to be like more contrasty, like just darker darks, lighter lights. It's like serious, but it's like not there for me.
I think even just bringing down the blacks may be enough. Let's see, if we do both, it may look too much. Yeah, I think just bringing the blacks down already gives it enough punch, because smoke shouldn't be white. It is kind of a gray. I like it though, and here I feel like the central composition kind of works. It's the kind of thing that after doing mushrooms, you would see lots of things in the shadows, in the spirals of smoke.
With a darker blacks, I think it looks way better. I actually like this one.
Excellent.
I'll give it a pick.
Pick. There you go, Juris. Let's take a look at this one from John Sullivan. That is pretty cool. Nice, simple effect that you get from a long exposure. So 18 mil. Well, this is 1/200th of a second. So either it's a multiple exposure stack or a series of images that then have been blended, which could be either. It's certainly not in a single shot, a 200th of a second, but I think it's quite a dramatic shot. What do you think, Steph?
Yeah, where is this?
Is it Toronto?
Seattle? I don't know. It's really cool. I like how the sky ends up looking. Actually, yeah, this one's really nicely done. I just don't know what that bottom right thing is, but besides that, I like this one too. Oh, people are saying in the previous photo that there is a face in the top right corner with the smoke. Oh, I see it. Okay. Dang, guys.
I don't see it.
Oh, in the previous one, in the smoke one.
I had a look.
Oh.
Okay. Ooh, spooky. Spooky smoke shot.
Yeah, spooky.
Oh, Kate sees it. All right, so either I'm the only one on Wacky Debaki or everyone else is. This one from Joseph Lycia. I think this is a cool shot, and it works so well because of the way you get the image reversed as you shoot through a cup of water like this. The only thing would be, I think I would like to have either the front or either the background or the cup in focus, rather the front of the cup rather than the stem, because it kind of makes everything else kind of feel soft. And I feel like this could work really nicely crisp, but I think it's a cool, neat, kind of abstract, kind of symmetrical shot. There's just something about it that's pleasing. What do you think, Steph?
I feel like this image could be used at a restaurant. This is wall art. It's nice.
Nice.
Yeah, I like it.
I saw Adam asking, did I get his photo? I'm sorry, I can't check individual people now. I certainly recognize your name, but we had over 300 entries. If you had the right name, got it in on time, sent it to the right address, it was a JPEG, then I got it. But we had to cull over 300 down to under 50. So that could be where it is. Josh Gilmore. You had a little baby. Look at this. I don't know if it's your baby or you're just shooting a man and his baby. Another one that
I hope it's somebody's baby in this. Like, whoever shot this, the whole team. Hopefully, it's somebody's baby.
It's a prop baby.
That's a very convincing prop, baby, if
right?
that's the case.
I mean, it's gorgeous. And obviously, for someone whose life is, basketball is really important to them, their baby is very important to them, this is the kind of shot they're going to really look back on, and it will have a great meaning for them. And I mean, it's nicely done. There's nothing really too much to criticize. Or to suggest, other than, again, I would probably bring some blacks back, but it's soft where you want it to be, it's sharp where you want it to be, there's no distractions. Yeah, I mean, the only thing would be if you want to have a little bit more of the father, so slightly lifting his chin just the tiniest bit, but I think it's really sweet. What do you think, Steph? And what does everyone else think in the comments?
This is really cute. I also like it if they were to crop in so it's closer on the baby and just a little, like, I guess,
Just totally get
just
rid of the
tighter.
father.
Oh
Just
yeah, who
baby.
cares about the father? This is all about the baby. But I like this one a lot. I give this one a pick. Keep
This
baby.
is the world's smallest NBA draft, right? Very, very, very cute. Let me just undo my silly edit. Keep the pic. Yeah, nice one, Josh. And if that is your young one, congrats. Now, Kamal Rake, out of a sea of images that were quite similar, I thought this was unique among the entries that we had, and I thought kind of cool. You've got the harsh geometric shape and then the natural unpredictable form of the clouds. You've got great tonal range through the shot. The way it all lines up, it looks like, I don't know, like that the building is kind of an exhaust pipe with this big billow of white smoke coming out of it.
Global warming. That's what I think. Air pollution.
Yeah, I like it. It's
Uh,
what are you awing about? Pollution.
the world is ending.
Well, at least we have front row seats.
Yay.
Yeah, nice one, Kamal. Lamar. So this is another one that is actually fairly difficult to control the exposure, and I think you've done a really good job on it. Backlit like this, especially with darker skin tones, it can be difficult. How far do you push the exposure to get the correct exposure on the face? Do you completely, let go of the background like that? Do you, if you're exposing for the background, then the face is going to be totally lost? I feel like where you shot it works really nicely. Only thing I would love to see the edge of her outfit, because obviously that's a pretty what do you even call that outfit? It's like pants, skirt, jumpsuit, overalls. What is that, Steph?
You're asking the wrong person.
It's not a hoodie, so Steph won't know. It's it's an epic outfit, and I feel like having a bit less on the left, a bit more on the right would do it justice better. Yes, agreed? Agreed.
I agree. I'm just curious on the outfit now. I'm just like,
Well, if you're here, Lamar,
what is it? I like
let
it.
us know.
I don't know what it is, but I really like it. Just the slits for the legs, but it's also pants, but it's also kind of a dress.
You could wear this riding a bike or walking down the runway. It's very convenient.
Yeah.
Mal Media is saying that these are drants or drants. Yeah, dress
Drant?
pants. Dress pants.
I'm
High
still
five,
gonna
Mal.
Google
That
it.
was pretty good.
Brand.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay, patent pending. Drants. I'm launching my new line of Matt Granger Drants before
No.
you know it. We'll do two more here and then we'll come back for some questions. So if you have some for Steph or I or Juan or whatever, send them in. Mark Francis. I don't know what this is, but it feels, often when you go to an art gallery, it feels like sometimes it's just like weird for the sake of being weird, postmodern nonsense. Other times the the way that the audience interacts with the image becomes what the exhibition actually is. And looking at this, the way people are taking photos in it, maybe it's part of our vain generation, millennial, whatever society. But you got the woman pushing on the side here, you got the old chap walking through with his hat here, you've got people enjoying and engaging with the exhibition, which I think is awesome. Like, that's way cooler than just something that you sit back and twist your mustache and, oh yes, I can see the influence of blah blah here. It's it becomes an interactive kind of exhibition. I think it's pretty cool.
I like this a lot. The structures are really awesome, and the framing of the photo, it works really well too. I like this.
Agreed.
I'll give it.
Oh, too late, because I already gave it a pick. Oh,
What? There is no rule that says I can't give a pick.
Well, you can't
two.
double pick. So, yeah, that's
What?
my rule. This is my show. There's a rule. There is a rule. I just made that rule. So shut
Was
up.
this ever stated before?
Oh, would you have read the memo if I'd sent it? Back on topic.
would have.
Yeah, you totally would. Has anyone seen the movie Eurovision, the new Will Smith movie that's on Netflix? If you're a Will Smith fan, I mean, it's cheap, silly comedy, but yeah, it's worth a look. I just wanted to start singing one of the theme songs, but I think if you haven't seen it, I would just seem more insane than usual. Let's take a look at some questions. Volcano Man. Steph, is there a filmmaker you'd like to shadow for a week or so?
Jackie Chan.
He's not a filmmaker.
He is.
He's a... Actually, no, don't get myself in trouble. Yes, okay, Jackie Chan. Colin Cameron, what do you think about using living museums or reenactments as shoot locations? Do you know what that means, Steph? A living museum or reenactment?
I guess like sets. I mean, people they do photo shoots in IKEA.
But is that what they mean by reenactments?
I
Let us.
feel
Can
like
you
it.
clarify, Colin? Because I'm not sure what you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, I don't know what they are to give an opinion on that one. Sorry. KS Photo, you've got a great question here, but I don't know that I can give you a great answer. What's the best method you can think of for visualizing negative space contrast? I've been a long-time shooter, but I still have difficulty using negative space effectively in black and whites. It's a great question, but so I'm not there. I'm not at a point where I can just do everything instinctually. I am not that experienced, and I'm not that expert at so many genres of photography. But there are some areas where I feel really comfortable, and without sounding too wishy-washy, I just feel it. I haven't stepped back and analyzed what I'm doing to write a set of rules that explain what I'm doing and why. But when you're trying to learn something new, and it's the same I do, I would take a look at, do an image search and find some negative space shots that you love, save them, and then go through them and start to pull out what brings them together, what do they have in common, what's different about them, what do you like about each of the different ones, and use those kind of topics, like this creates tension, or this leaves space for where the subject is moving, or here there's a juxtaposition of elements, and use that to inform when you go out to shoot. Elliot Franco, any chance of holding a meetup over here in the Brooklyn area with a few of your great fans that live locally? Well,
Oh.
how will I determine whether they're great or not? We actually had a meetup at Rattlegast Beer Hall in like January before everything kicked off. It was a massive snowstorm. Steph was there, Juan was there, and surprisingly, given the weather, not too many other people showed up, even the great fans. So yes, once we are safe to do so, I would love to catch up with more guys, but it's nothing to do with you. But right now, when we, you don't know if one person who attends the meetup has a roommate who's been not careful and then they infect all of us, and then someone goes home and infects their grandma. So I don't want that going on until
Yeah.
we are confident that everything's under control. Let's take a look. Someone asked about keyboards. I think that was 101 blog. And it's amazing how your avatar looks just like you, but actually friendlier in the avatar. This one, I didn't catch the actual question, but this is a Photoshop one. It's so pretty. But they have basically the main photo and video editing and then just pretty colorful ones. Yes, I find them helpful for any keyboard to... I should say they only, I think, make them for Apple keyboards though, so maybe we're clumsier with our drinks. Okay, Colin Cameron. Living museums and museums where the staff dress up and have actual shops, coal mines, running trams. Okay. Okay, so that's what he's talking about. So it's like where you go to a Civil War museum and everyone's dressed up in period costume and stuff like that. I don't see any problem with it. I mean, it's another part of life. If you get the right elements, you might find it difficult to give directions, so it might all be candid, but it's very different. But I don't see that there's anything intrinsically better or worse with doing that than just shooting people on the street or going about their other jobs, so why not? Cool. Reminder, if you just joined us, we still have a great room full of people. Next week's theme is people photography. It can be, interpret that as you want, but it's not that hard to interpret, right? It could be a headshot, it could be an art nude, it could be a group shot, it could be an action shot, it could be whatever. It's just people is the theme. We have a couple of $100 in KEH vouchers that we're going to be giving away for the main prize winners. And then I'll give away some downloads as well. And that's part of, I'm doing a buying event, the Matt Granger KEH buying event, although none of your gear that you sell comes to me, unfortunately. It's basically an opportunity for our community. If you have any gear that you're not using or you want to sell, so when I first used KEH, it was a genuine situation of I had wasted so much goddamn time trying to sell things on eBay or the Craigslist, that kind of thing, and taking all the pictures and uploading everything, and then people not paying and the site siding with them even though they were in the wrong, that taking a cut on commission on the percentage but avoiding eBay fees was worth it to just have a clear, this is the price we're offering you, you can take it or leave it, and if I wanted to take it, then I took it. So the time, money proposition, basically. So now for all of you guys who can't get out and can't sell in that way anyway, you can set up and have a video conference call where you tell them what you want to sell, show it to them on the video, they'll offer you a price, send a courier to pick it up, get it, make sure that it is what you agreed on selling, and then they send you out a check. So it seems like a cool way to get some cash for gear that you may have sitting around that you're not using at the moment anyway. So that is there in the chat if anyone wants to get involved. That's scheduled for the 17th and 18th of July. Cheers, Steph.
Cheers.
Cheers with your odd Calpico something.
It's good.
All right, well, I'll be waiting for a cocktail once this all ends. Let's jump back and take a look at some more pickies. So speaking of period-themed images, how about this one? Do you think this was a Westworld 1930s themed living museum or just a very well-dressed couple waiting for a steam train? That doesn't even really look like a steam train. It looks like a regular train with a bunch of smoke. Is that a steam train?
I can't tell if this is real or a set.
So that looks like a modern light pole. They look like ye olde worldy folks. I think overall it works. They look like comfortable, sensible, yet stylish shoes, by the way. I think it works, and it kind of reminds me of like Once Upon a Time in America, that kind of cinematography.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know why, but for some reason, have you guys watched Peaky Blinders? Have you seen it, Steph?
I feel like you bring this up like every other week, and it's always still a no from me.
I
I just
don't
haven't
think
had
that's
time.
true. I don't think that's true. Maybe you just I've hit a sore spot. But this guy, just from behind, reminds me of the Italian character in the second to last season that comes over from the American Mafia. I don't know why. But yeah, I like the characters. I don't know if all of the other stuff in the scene is adding that much. I wonder if just bringing it in on them, the steam and the train, makes it a more powerful shot, like something like that. What do you think? Steph, audience?
No.
Are you waiting for it to load? Anyway, I think that works better.
Yeah.
But nice shot. Martin Donoff. Does this have some color in it?
I can't tell. It's almost greenish.
It does. Uh-oh, sorry. Disqualified.
Oh,
Um,
it's just a nice photo though. But yeah, okay. Next.
Michael Sawyers. So here, a really nice reflection in the water. It's cool, it's geometric. I don't know that there's enough visual interest there, but I do like the geometric approach on it. You get that kind of sliding to the left feeling though, because you were pointing to the left in the shot rather than directly straight on, which I get because I'm often looking up to Manhattan, because the nicest part of Manhattan is off to the right of us. So I think it works in that sense. It's a nice geometric kind of shot, but if it was like a page in a book about a town, I think it works. As just a standalone image, I'm not sure if it's strong enough to tell a long story like that.
I do like the reflection in the water. That's done very well.
So we should be able to just 180 it and it look just as great, right? Oh, that's kind of trippy when you have the top be the blurry bit.
Yeah, that is that is very trippy. Oh, okay.
Martin, I saw you in the chat. Sorry, but you can't have black and white with some color toning. That means it's no longer a black and white image. Michael Black. The file is called Michael Black Black and White. Please come to Utah to shoot. Well,
That is so creative.
that's very sweet of you. Either you are just super proud of your state or you would love for us to come visit, but that's very nice of you. Have I been to Utah? I feel like I have. A beautiful Red Rock area around there, isn't it? What do I know about Utah? Steph, tell me everything without Googling it.
I know nothing about Utah.
Michael,
I've never
if
been
you're in the
there.
room or if someone in the room has been to Utah, sell it to me. What's there? Why do I need to go? Other
Ooh,
than
yeah.
a very
Give
sweet
us your
guy
best
named
pitch.
Michael inviting us. So, difficulty with bubbles, and I think my cover shot for this week, I used a bubble bath shot, is that bubbles are highly reflective like glass. So if you have lights in the shot and the bubbles are closer than your subject, they're going to completely blow out before your subjects get lit. So here you can see she could do with a bit more light, but let me just check the histogram. I'm guessing we are actually close to white on the bubbles already. Yeah, so if we push it a little, we're going to bring her up, but we're probably going to blow out the bubbles. Although I don't know that blow out the bubbles. I don't know if that's really a big issue on this one anyway. Okay,
I don't know. I
Arches
really like
National
this image.
Park.
And remember when I saw like people play with bubbles when we were shooting? I was like, oh my god, I don't think we are ever going to look at bubbles the same way. We cannot blow bubbles anymore because that it's like a little bubble bomb of possible COVID. Scary.
This too
That's
will
sorry,
pass,
that was
my
just
dear.
things that kind of go through my head. But yeah.
Previous generations lived through smallpox and this, that, and the other. We will get through this.
I hope so.
We will. We will. I like the shot though. Pick. Michael Timmer. So, where are we here? I love this kind of shot. I admit I'm a total sucker for this kind of smoky shot, someone in their natural environment, preferably because I'm a boring guy who's addicted to travel, somewhere that looks different to my lifestyle. If this were someone in their designer kitchen over their, non-stick cookware, it wouldn't be nearly as interesting. But for me, so there's like weaving in the corner, and then I don't know what's going on, some kind of nuts or berries or something being cooked, and then the tapestry on the wall. I like it, but what's going on? I think maybe just because it's such a low light situation, you're already up at 1,000th. So two things are going on. You're at a 1/40th of a second, so you have a slight bit of motion blur, but then you also have the focus on her arm rather than on her face. Probably, I'm guessing, because on the fabric here is your best point of contrast, so that's a good area for your camera to grab AF on, whereas the lead eye is in shadow, the far eye is tiny to get the camera to grab that. That's difficult. So, hot tip for people who are in this kind of a situation, you do often need to look for a great contrast area to get focus. Here, I would have gone for the earring. It's getting a little hot spot. There's a good chance the camera would have been able to pick that one up. So, I like it though. It makes me want to travel pick just because I want to go to travel. Mike Boyle. Ooh, look at this thing. Look at this.
Oh.
Steph, look at this. It's got human eyes. Oh, it's judging me. Wow.
Oh god, it kind of creeps me out since you said it's got human eyes. Now I'm like creeped out. Oh god.
Pick. I love birds.
What?
What? Comparing this to the other bird shot we had, maybe it's had a similar amount
yeah.
of work done, but if it has, it's really nicely done. And we can see the remnants of what's been done, but not too much. The background has been eliminated, but on the original file as submitted, it at least looks really well done. Again, maybe I'm getting, when you have these rules, you need to break them sometimes. It's not you don't need to follow this to be chosen as a winner. But I find myself more and more being turned off by central composition unless it's really confronting. Sometimes having a really central composition works great, but most of the time I'm finding I prefer something just slightly off center. What do you think, Steph?
I feel like for this image, I think it works well centered. It kind of makes me uncomfortable now, but I feel like I like it, but I also don't, just because I feel like it's staring into my soul. Can we go to the next one? Great job, Mike, but like,
This is a I know what you did
jeez.
last summer shot. The bird is totally judge and jury, right?
Like I'm watching you forever, now and forever.
Well, it's not Jesus, come on. Jimmy Pix is asking, Steph, you look tanner. Have you been getting sun, or are you just in lower light?
I would assume lower light. I haven't really gone out It's
I
like
reckon.
walking outside, like,
I reckon it's because you are wearing a white top, so your face is relatively tanner.
oh, yeah,
Eh.
makes sense. Or it could also be because I'm Asian, I don't have the enzymes to process alcohol, so I'm probably starting to get a little bit of a flush. So, that could be the thing.
Mike just
Hmm.
said that this previous shot, those I guess are silk pods, and the woman is boiling them and extracting silk to then weave, and that this was taken in
Oh,
Uzbekistan. So funny, I have
oh,
some Uzbek friends. I didn't know they were famous for their silk. This one from Oscar Eminem. I'm just going to go with Eminem. Um, I mean, come on, that's cool. What do you think,
yeah.
Steph? That's a
Oh, this
pick.
is so cute.
I don't really have much to add to that. I think it's really well framed, really well done. The middle person maybe is a little soft relative just because the others are so hardly in focus, and then the middle one is just a little bit out. But I mean, it was cute enough. But then the dog. Are you kidding me? You kidding
I
me,
know. Oh my
Oscar?
God, pig.
And it's creative. I'm sure there's been something like that done before. That doesn't matter, but I think you've done it really, really well. The shadow on the far side of people's face gives a nice contrast to the next person. Um, that's cute as hell, man. Well done.
Oh, oh,
Oh, woo. Let's take a look
so
at
cute.
Paul Trunfeld's photo. This boat has seen better days. Oh, I just saw the news that Lamborghini have announced they're releasing a boat. Maybe Paul ought to trade this one in for the Lamborghini boat. I think that could be a good idea. Looks like maybe like an infrared shot, the way the clouds are coming up here. Um, I think it's fine. It's you've got the most of the shadow in there. Again, you could probably take a small step to the right, get more of the length of the boat, get rid of that space on the right, catch the end of the shadow on the left to make it a little bit more dramatic. What are we looking at here? 17 mil. So depending on your lens, maybe go a little wider, a little closer to make the boat even more dominant. But nice shot, Steph.
The sky is so dark. I don't know. That was just like my first thought. I was like, whoa, the sky is so dark. But then it's like there's light and it's just, yeah. And also, I'm still thinking about Lamborghini having boats. Like, why? What's so great about it? Is it just going to be the brand? Like,
Well, as Richard said, they started off by making tractors, which is true. But
oh,
and now I'm pretty sure they have a watch with a company that's like the price of a car as well. That's themed around an Aventador. And why the hell not? Supercharged boat. There's a lot of people with a lot of money who want to do fast things on the water. So why not make a Lamborghini boat? They made an SUV recently, and it's hot as hell. So why not? And
oh
it's got a
boy.
pair of giant outboard motors on it. I haven't seen the interior pictures, but it was just on a website that I saw this morning, and it looks crazy and something I'll never get to be on, but why the hell not?
Mhm.
What do you guys think of
Sure.
this shot? Paul, I like it. I'm still going to give it a pick. What do you think? How many more, Steph, and then we'll go back to questions? 1, 2, 3, 12.
Oh, I don't know. How many more do we have? Oh, so many. So many.
Let's do. Where's my
Let's
little thing?
do,
I'm
I
gonna.
don't know.
I
Wait,
don't
how
want to
many?
give away what we have coming, so let me just switch to us, and I'll just secretly check. I'm secret checking. It's a sneak attack. So that is image. We have 14 left. So let's do 2 more, and then we can do the next lot in 1 or 2 rounds as well. How about that? That
Cool.
sounds great, Matt. Oh, good deal. Now, this is how I imagine Steph and I look as we're walking away from the camera to go to a photo shoot. For from Peter Jacoby. Although
Oh my god.
I don't have the age or wisdom of this elephant. So in travel photography, we call this the tourist view, which is when you get the butt of the animal rather than the face, because when they hear you, they start to leave and you get the arse end of them. It's kind of funny because you always think of like the elephant and the mouse or the elephant and the bird as being an odd couple of friends, so having them in the frame together is kind of fun. I think the positioning on the elephant is great. I'll be honest, I don't know if the bird adds a whole lot. If you had just this shot, get rid of the bird, and wait for the elephant to turn its head and get some tusks and an eye from its right-hand side of its face, then I think you have your shot right there.
I actually like it with the bird. It's like I don't know.
Don't
it's
invite
cute.
you
They're
on
both
here,
like,
Stephanie, to disagree with me. Stop it.
I don't know. It's cute. Like they could be best friends, and it's just yeah, it's like the Lion King.
The lion had a friend that was a bird or an elephant?
Bird.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle.
That is not from the Lion King, but I tried. It's okay.
It just started raining here. How about that? Sorry? Lion King's friend is a bird. Okay. Okay, nice one, Peter. One more. Pete Murphy, what kind of dog do you think that is, Stephanie?
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say first question. What kind of dog is it?
So my first thought was the guy on the right looks like Hitchcock, and then it would be some kind of killer dog, but maybe some kind of fluffy terrier. I'm gonna say like a pom doodle or a golden doodle. They're all something doodles that are crossbreeds these days.
It's like I want to say something with a poodle. Multi.
A multi-poo? You know, that's the thing, a multi-poo?
Yeah, they're so cute.
So I think this is actually a pretty great shot. So technically you can talk about how the tones have been rendered through the ground and everything, but I think this is conceptually really good. And in the same way, you know, I said that those earlier shots reminded me of a photo club type shot. For some reason, this strikes me as a kind of image that one day when Peter Murphy becomes famous for shooting people or landscape or travel or sport or whatever it is, this is the kind of shot that you'll see in a retrospective of someone's work and say, oh wow, they just had a really interesting eye, whatever they shot. This, I think it's a really, really cool shot. As an individual image, you may not use it as like a cover image on your website, but I think it's clever and it's well framed and it's really creative.
Yeah, I like this one a lot. I just want to know what kind of dog. But besides that, pick.
Too late, I already picked it.
Damn it. Okay, fine.
We're going to have words after this, Stephanie. Okay, let's switch back and take a look at some questions. I can talk more shit when Steph and I aren't face to face because she can't like kick me in the head when we're remote.
I wouldn't kick you in the head anyways.
No, because you've lost your touch.
I know. Oh my gosh, my hips be cracking and everything. Ugh, it's bad.
Right. Hola Kyle, thank you so much for streaming. I love you both and all the amazing content you create. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us. That's really nice to hear. DP caption moments. Have you ever shot video commercials for clients? I don't watch network TV, so I don't know what commercials are these days. But we've made video content promoting products that you wouldn't have seen or known was made by me that they've used to sell, but I don't know if it ever went on TV. I think it was for online only. Let us know some questions. Shadow Hunter, do you have more info about your 5-part how to shoot your city? How long is the course? Do you have a list of topics? That is a great idea. I need to add that. it was something that I have waiting to go live later, and I just thought, why not give people a huge bargain and make it 90% off, and they can get it for $9 or whatever it is. But I didn't go through and put enough info down. So tonight or tomorrow I will do that. Thank you. And that's, what is it, mattgranger.com/city, I think, that page. Anyone have any cheeky little questions for Stephanie? Nkit is saying, I still can't get over the clickbait image of Steph for this live session. Thank you, but that isn't Steph, so yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I don't remember it. I don't think it was me.
It is a black and white image. It is the bubble one that I mentioned a little bit earlier, but it isn't Steph, actually. Probably it would be less clickbaity if it were Steph, because at least you're here. So I'm glad.
Yeah.
You can't get over it. I don't know if that means it's good or bad, but I'm glad you do. Ulrich must have just joined us. He asked, what is the goo you were drinking, Steph? It looks toxic. Are you going to become an Avenger?
I'm just gonna say, oh, it's glue. That's what it is. No, I'm just kidding.
Aren't you
it
meant to
is
sniff
a
that?
No, but it's a mixture of stuff. I just made like a little cocktail with soju, and it's like with Milkis, with Calpico, and Korean Sprite
Uh-huh.
and soju.
Steph,
Very good.
take the mic for a moment. I need to take a moment of personal time.
Oh, okay, cool. What do you guys got for me? Let's see. Questions. Okay. So Matt suggested that I could talk about my channel. My channel is Art School Dropouts. Didn't go to art school. We make original content, films, and all types of stuff. So, and vlogs and everything. So I'm chatting in here once in a while. What is Korean Sprite? It is. I don't know. It's like a Korean version of Sprite. That's what it tastes like, but it's really good. I don't really know how to. I'll have to. No, it like just tastes kind of like Sprite, but I guess not as sweet. No. Uh, okay, Asta, what is that photo or poster over your right shoulder of? I'm assuming handgun. So on my YouTube channel, we make a bunch of like short films and web series, and we'd like to make like little movie posters of our work. And I frame them and I put it up on my wall. So all of this stuff is actually movie posters of all of the films that we have done. Let's see. So many questions. Do you listen to Korean music, specifically BTS, asking for the teenager in this house? I actually don't listen to Korean music anymore. I used to listen to like Big Bang back in the day, but I haven't listened to any of like the more recent stuff.
Big Bang. Oh, I'm back, by the way. Hi.
Hello.
Do you do Tai Chi, Steph?
I do not enjoy this Tai Chi.
Oh, sorry, Mario. Kate, what are you laughing at? She's laughing at Tai Chi. Okay. It's an actual martial art. I know you're picturing the, group of a dozen old ladies in the park in Hong Kong, but it's a thing as well. Oh, Rico, I'm so sorry. Yes, I'm back. I had to come back. And one, that's not funny. I mute myself before I went to the bathroom, so Steph didn't need to listen to that. Although it's just normal stuff. I don't think it would be too traumatic.
It's like it's normal. It's fine. I mean, when you go to the bathroom, like public bathrooms, do you yell at the person next to you like, "Hey, I can hear you pee. Stop that." Does it make any sense?
Richard Wintle, does Matt do Tai Chi? I'm actually surprised. One, with your background and that we work together so much, and two, with my amazing reflexes and obviously physical physique, that no one has ever asked if I've done martial arts. I'm gutted, but I'll get over it.
Guys, somebody ask.
No. We're going back to image review. I don't want to put words in people's
Okay, okay,
mouths.
okay.
Rafael Campillo. Okay, so this has to be an Apple store. I don't think I've done a
It
black
has
and.
to be.
Have you not seen this vantage point or this shot before?
No. But
Well,
are Apple stores like known to have staircases like that? Oh.
yeah. I don't think I think more photo comps that I've run for black and white than not have had a shot looking up through the Apple staircase. So they tend to be, if it's a multiple level building, it tends to have these glass staircases between each level. I've not seen the spiral one. Maybe oh no, I have. There's one in New York. Maybe that's this one. Although, how many thousands of Apple stores are there? It's cool. What would make it really, I think, elevate it if you had, like, well, you're not going to get this, but like someone in sneakers, someone in stilettos, and someone in bare feet or something like that to get a variety of
Oh
different
god.
footages. Um,
Oh, footages. I get it. Ah, I see what you did there. Okay.
yeah, good. Any thoughts on this one?
Oh, feet. um, I mean, it's interesting. I'll give you that much. But like I haven't seen anything like this before.
Oh
So
my God, there's a
yeah.
guy in the room whose name is Tai Chi. Hi, Tai.
What?
Nice to meet you. There's a man in the room
Oh,
whose name is Tai Chi.
oh my god.
That's amazing. I wish someone would name a martial art Matthew Granger. Sorry, Steph, go ahead.
You can start your own martial art.
Oh, I need disciples. Who wants. Actually, no. Is this the right time? No. Okay, sorry, Steph, you were saying?
No, I was just saying that it's interesting because I haven't seen anything like this before, but it's
Oh.
okay. Like I don't really know what else to say about it. I think maybe it's because it's feet.
Steph has a feet phobia, whereas a lot of her viewers seem to have the opposite. Let's take a look at a couple more. Where is my cursor? Here we go. Raphael 2. Okay, so I think it's very cool. I'm not sure about that second arm. I feel like having it just fall away may be stronger. And I feel like this may be the most Barbie dolled skin we've seen.
I feel like this is something that my friend Robert would do. Actually, he has done something like this. What am I saying?
Hang on, here's a shot he took of me doing this.
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. I like it. The concept is great. It's good for like editorial type of work. I just think the pose could do a little bit of tweaking, but
I like the shot. I really like the shot. I think the crop I just did is probably better. Just bringing it in a little from the right. I'm not personally a fan of the way the skin's edited, but that's a personal thing. It's not right or wrong. So pick. And I don't know if it's the next one, but maybe the next one has another nudity warning. So you're warning. You're warned.
not the next.
Oh, nope, not the next one. So this is one I included of my own shots that I wanted to include to demonstrate one of the other reasons you might want to go black and white. And it tied back to two of the ones we had. The woman with the what do we call those pant skirt things again? Scants or something. And also the one that was heavily backlit. In this shot, no matter what I did, I couldn't get the white balance right. All of what is lighting her is heavy green foliage in a tropical environment in Ethiopia, backlit. And I just couldn't find a point, and spending an hour manually adjusting it, I couldn't get her skin to look accurate. So making it into a black and white worked, and I had already shot it overexposed to get the skin tones up and to sacrifice the background. But this is another situation where I think having a black and white, it can be a cheat. You don't have the right white balance, so just make it black and white. But I feel like it would have been distracting anyway. Her top was very colorful. The greenery had all different tones of green. They would have given different look to it. Here, it just kind of brings you into her eyes. And like I said, I break my own rules. So here, it's a central composition. So there you go. Steph, criticize away.
I mean, what? We're here to review everybody else's images. It's all good.
She's going to send me
it
a
could also
long
be-
email at the end of this.
Oh my god. I mean, it could just be like, once in a while you're like, you know what, I like central composition. And then other times after a month or two, you're like, you know what, I like it off to the left, off to the right. Taste changes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And no, it's not the next one with a bit of nudity. We'll get to it. So this one looks to me, what are we doing here? So there's no metadata. At first glance, it looks like a low-res image that's been brought up. It's definitely an image that's had a whole lot of work done to it. But I don't know if the beard looks super sharp because the whites have just been pushed to heck, or the focus is actually on the beard. Both are forgivable. I like the shot, but I think using it anywhere to be looked at full res or to be printed is going to show that it's really been worked a lot. So I do like the shot. It's impactful, it's powerful. I like the framing. It's not my personal style of editing, but I do like the final result. What do you think, Steph?
I agree. I like the composition a lot. Very. I don't know. I feel like if I was the person that he was looking at, I would feel so judged.
Man,
Like,
Rico is
did you
throwing
just
down
say
some
that?
shade in the chat. Say what? All right, couple more. We must be getting close to the trigger warning. Nope, we're still going. It's in.
We are like two. Wait, no. Actually, after this next one, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rule Adams. So to Rule's credit, he sent in, I assume that's a man's name, he sent in a sepia-toned image, which I replied, this is black and whites only, so they sent it back as a black and white. You know what? This one has extra poignance to me because it feels like a Civil War image, and America feels like it's on the brink of that at the moment.
Okay.
I think it's kind of powerful, although it seems like the cannon is pointed in the wrong direction. It's I don't know. Here, for the person who was looking for it, this is a use of negative space. The barricade and the cannon itself get their form, meaning, and sense of place in the image because of all of the white space in the image. What do you think, Steph?
I like it. It's kind of I don't know, it makes me a little uneasy seeing that it's just the cannon and then the sky and like the background, it's just white. It's just completely white. There's no clouds, there's no trees, there's no nothing, and it's like, oh geez.
Well,
I'm assuming this was on a hill?
in literature, the endless white is a metaphor for death. So there you go. That maybe works.
Whoa. Yeah, that works.
Okay. So there's a couple of warnings here. And I have to say, I am not offended by you submitting images with nudity, men or women, as long as they're adults. It's just for you at home who may be. So, Richard Talent here. So what are we doing here? This looks like some gigantic vehicle. She's dressed
Like a
in the
monster
mechanic
truck?
outfit. There's a tool there on the ground. Um, I don't know that you can do that kind of heavy machinery mechanic work with those nails. What do you think, Steph?
Oh, definitely not. With those nails?
So without zooming
I
in, I think on the this side of her chest, some weird editing has been done to the hair that doesn't quite look natural. Um,
Mhm.
I don't know. I feel like the toning works really well. It's the most unusual shot for an implied or a nude image that I think I've seen, but it doesn't quite vibe with me. What do you think as a model, Steph? What do you see?
I just don't understand the concept. And like I personally the kneeling on the ground as a pose, it's I find that very hard to do correctly because if you position yourself especially forward facing and don't like show your calves, it's like where are the rest of your legs? And it's just the pose could do some work. Um and the tool, either you show it or you don't. I'm not really sure. It's just needs to be cleaned up, like I think a little bit more.
All right, cool. We got some crazy comments coming through in the chat. Let's do, what do you think? One more and then we'll head back to the questions. So
Yeah, I think one more is good.
here's our other warning. Um, so, again, we don't have any pure whites or blacks, but I feel like it has enough tonal contrast because either she has quite dark skin tones here. This one from Robert Popper. She has quite
Mm.
dark skin tones, and or it's a brand new, very bright white, um, whatever you call that outfit, because the light is very soft. So the light itself isn't bringing in the hard contrast. Um, so I feel like the posing with her hands, face, and gaze all work in alignment, but I do feel the composition's a little off. We have a lot of space on the left,
Hmm.
kind of crowded on the other three sides. So I would either bring it in tight everywhere. I think actually that's the winning shot here, to bring it in tight. But I don't think having the finger with the ring here on the edge of frame is doing any favors, or the elbow being cut off. What do you think, Steph?
Yeah, I was gonna say the finger, the thumb is kind of really distracting. Feel like either you frame it a little bit wider or you just cut it like closer.
So
But
I'm
I
tempted.
think the lighting is well done on this.
Yeah, the edge lighting, especially along the side of her, is great. There's two crops that jump out to me here. Um, and so, just so you got, I don't know, when I click on this, does that come through on the screen capture, like the crosshairs of the. No, it doesn't seem like it does. Bummer. So, anyway, her right eye, her lead eye, is exactly on a rule of thirds as it's currently composed. So, just showing they are good rules of thumb, but it's not necessarily always going to work. So there's two ways that I see this. One is bringing it in really tight. Maybe like this, which I think kind of works, or probably a little down from there actually. But the thing that I feel we're missing there is, for me anyway, there's so much straight line form in the shot on her outfit and in the background. I really like the soft, natural curves of her hair, that I would want to leave that in. But then I'm not really sure where we can crop it at that point. Something like that, but it does feel kind of unbalanced. What do you guys think in the chat? Any thoughts on that one? Oh, so apparently the grid was showing. That's good to know. Steph, any other thoughts?
I like this one. I like to give this one a pick.
Pick. I like the necklace too. And that also was perfectly aligned on one of the thirds. But here, I feel like even though it was on the third, bringing it kind of the opposite of what I've said all night, a little more central, I think works better. Mainly because that the door in the background, I don't think does any favors to her. But when you look at a shot like this, sometimes I'm going through and I'm looking at the one image thinking, how can we possibly crop this to make the best of what's been submitted? But look back at your own images from the shoot and you might find that you took 20 different slight variations with space on one side or above or below or whatever, that you can have a lot more options in terms of the final crop that you use. So, thank you guys. We've got lots of great comments rolling in. And gracious, I just saw we've been going for 2 hours. So, thank you to those of you with the stamina who are still here. We still have a great viewership in the room, so thank you all. In case you've just joined us, so reminder, our theme next week is people, open to anyone, one shot per person. Go to mattgranger.com/live. And we have KH as a sponsor. We're giving away a bunch of vouchers and downloads. And what else? Oh, I just saw on the video my little belly button is showing. Whoops.
What a show.
Woo! I gave a nudity warning at the top, so yeah. Do we have anything else we need to mention? Oh, the July 4th sales are on all weekend, so don't miss out. Let's take a look at some questions. Big thanks to Juan, the unsung hero of this live chat. Every week he's there sending through dozens of questions to me, getting involved. Thank you, mate. I really appreciate it. Steph, what is your favorite color photo?
Oh man, I don't know. I have done so many photo shoots and so many, worked with so many photographers. It's really hard to say which is my favorite. I've done so many different types of editorial and commercial and fashion. I don't know. You guys could check out my work on my Instagram. You guys could let me know which one you like. I do have photos on sale, which Chris keeps bringing up if you guys are interested.
Yes, I was about to say we had a question, what is your website? And we talked about, we have some shots that I need to send you so you can pop them up there. That's a good idea.
Yeah, I know. We just haven't answered. I do have one photo, just to answer Mal Media. I do have one print that I got from my photographer friend Robert. He printed it out. It's huge, and it is me with a cello.
Ah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, and I just have it framed in the living room. At first, I was like, "Is that weird to have photos of myself?" But Timmy's all for it, so I was like, "Okay."
You are nude, right? So how do your family and in-laws or family and friends feel when they come and see that?
Oh, that's fine. Well, I mean, that one, it's implied. I mean, I am pretty much nude, but everything is covered because of the cello and the hand position and the hair and whatnot.
That's right. That's when you had hair down to your ankles.
Yeah. I'm growing it out.
Cool. Well, we can right now cover your clavicles if we needed to reveal and conceal.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. Can't show my clavicles.
Oh, no. FR VAR is asking, who won? That's a good question.
Everyone's a winner.
We still have a few still to review. Let me check. How are we numbers-wise? We only have 5 left. So let's get in, look at the last 5, and then we will choose out our winners. I'm going to be giving away 5 downloads. Thank you. It's been a really high standard, and we had a huge number of entries, so I really appreciate it. So, Stephen Long, this is there were some other creepy crawlies in here who didn't quite make the cut that would have really freaked
Thank
you out,
God.
Steph. So the dragonfly, we've talked about this on the show before, the nature's greatest predator, the dragonfly. Um, it's interesting. I don't know that I've seen a black and white shot of a dragonfly because they're often so beautifully colored. Um, I think it kind of works well. I don't know. Do we want the first wing in focus? Because it's just kind of obscuring the second wing and giving us
I don't
that
know. Do I
tiger
really
print.
want to zoom in and analyze this?
Sure,
Oh
let's do
God.
that. That's a really good idea. Oh, so one thing to point out, this is an image that is 1/4 of the resolution that we request. So it's not probably going to be coming through great on YouTube. I do like the toning. I always say this for other people's shots and not my own. I realize I'm a hypocrite, but again, I would probably put this a little off center, but I do overall like the shot. So nice one, Stephen. Any other shots other than you need to apply some lotion, Steph?
I'm good.
Timo Hiltonen, you
Yes!
are cheating. Stop it. Every week we get more shots of your Samoyed puppies in Finland. At different, like whatever the theme is, you have a shot that fits in. And if you keep this up, I'm gonna fly to Finland
I mean,
and
next week
arrive
is
at your
people.
house. Oh, so we're gonna need you with your puppies for the next one.
They're 8 weeks old. Crap.
So that
cute.
is, it's super cute. I think it mainly works because Samoyeds are from 50 yards or 500 yards. People like Steph and I notice a big ball of white fluff and it's like, oh, Samoyed! Let's run over there and pretend like we need to be there for some reason and try and get
I
a
know.
pat.
It's just a happy, fluffy cloud. God.
It's very cute. To be fair, I don't know that it is a strong enough shot to be a winner amongst these shots, but I am always happy to see your Samoyeds. It's
Yes.
very, very cute.
Yes.
Thank you for entering. Thomas Mashner. So, yes, this is a beautiful woman. Yes, she has a great figure. Yes, she's wearing a slightly revealing singlet. But what makes this shot work, you put any subject there, they found a really beautiful pool of light where they're separated out from the background. It's a soft pool of light. They are posed and angled towards the light. I think you could take this guy in the shorts who's walking up behind her and pop him in there, and it's still going to be a flattering portrait light. So for that reason, I thought this is worth including, that you may not have a studio, you may not have a bag full of different equipment to get a shot, but there are beautiful pools of light available for you to shoot your portraits anywhere, and that's good inspiration for our people theme next week. What do you think on this one, Steph?
I love natural light, and I think this one was done very well. I give it a pick.
You know that our Natural Light Masterclass is a part of the Steph collection. There's currently 69%
Yeah,
off at
did you guys know?
mattgranger.com/July 4. What a
And it's
bargain.
on sale.
What? 69% off? What a bargain. Okay, I'll stop. Vlad Popescu. I love this shot. Just getting your hands, the artisan getting their hands in there, getting dirty, reminds me of that Patrick Swayze scene in Ghost. There's enough of the scene to give you an idea of what's going on. The focus is where you want it. The tone and the contrast is good. And for me, the amount of movement you have there at a 60th of a second is just perfect. I really like that one. So before you can, Steph, that's a pick. What are your thoughts?
I like it too. I think everything that has ended up within the photo works very well to tell the story. I want to try pottery.
You should. That looks like a nice little rice bowl for like Southeast Asia, the top of a rice bowl. You know, like an
I
offering
have
bowl for
rice
a monk.
cooking right now, and it smells so good.
Just white rice, or
Oh yeah,
yeah,
Just
you're
white
really
rice.
living that nun life, aren't you? Wow.
so good.
William Rigby, what a hunk. I like this, and I'm really glad to get some standard portraits of men. We get so many shots of
Yeah.
women or environmental portraits of anyone, but for just, a classic, beautiful portrait of a man, I think this is really nicely done. Soft but graduated. This is a soft form of Rembrandt lighting. Framing is good, the positioning is good, the toning is good. You've got his tattoos through to his face in focus and then a really soft background.
I
Technically, I
love
think
the
this
tattoos.
is right on point. Pick before Steph can.
The
Any
tattoos he
thoughts?
had. Oh, what?
And
The
that
tattoos
tattoo
he
right
has
near his
is
elbow
so.
looks like a long panda.
It is a panda. They're little pandas.
Oh, really?
And then he has like the lions. Like, oh, yeah. Pick. Oh, wait, you already said pick. Damn it. Still, whatever. Pick.
Nice one. And that's it. Oh,
Woo!
Kate got excited. Ah, we made it. Okay, let's take a look at our picks then and choose out our winners and
damn.
do
Hard.
this. So we have 14 picks and we need to get it down to 5. So choose 2 or 3, Steph. I'm going to choose 2 or 3 and let's see how we go. Are you seeing the live feed? Are you able to work off what I'm looking at?
Oh, yes.
Oh, this is difficult.
This
You
is
guys
very
did a
difficult.
really good job. Thank you.
I don't want to do black and white anymore. This is so hard.
I think I have 5. No, I shouldn't choose all 5. Tell me your top 2, Steph.
Damn it.
All right.
Let's go with Mark
Yep.
Francis.
Which picture is that? Sorry, I don't see the names here.
Oh, that's I think on yours is number 4
Okay, the
with
art.
the houses. Yeah, the
Okay.
art. And I want to say Eminem.
Which one?
The family.
Okay, so
the
the Eminem was one of mine, so that's good. Art wasn't. That's fine. Oops, now I'm selecting all of them. Let's do this again. So 3, 3. So then I will choose the other 3 out of the ones that I had chosen. Oh. Okay. So our winners. Dun 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 dun. And thank you. We had over 320 entries, 50 finalists, 5 winners, but there were some great shots. Don't take it as anything personal or that you should give up. Keep entering, keep sharing your work. We really appreciate it. Josh Gilmore, Spalding, Baby, Man, great shot. Mark Francis, Interactive Art, awesome shot. Oscar Eminem, you and your family, I want to, give your puppy a little tummy rub and hear how you shot this. Was it 5 exposures, or I assume it had to have been? Peter Murphy, to me, Hitchcock shot. I know it's a little bit unusual, but I really, really like that shot. And Vlad Popescu, the in their hands getting dirty, visceral grays, blacks, whites, really cool. Thank you all for entering, and I just saw someone commenting, I don't think I would have won. There's ones in there better than I entered. I want to encourage you to not think of this as just a chance to win. So sometimes I get carried away and I just give a bunch of prizes away, more than I've said anyway. But this is an active community where you sharing your work, we all benefit from it. I benefit from it. The most experienced people in the community, Steph and other models watching, benefit from it. Sharing your work and getting ideas and seeing different ways of doing things, it's a generous thing. And me choosing, or we choosing out these 5 finalists doesn't mean they were necessarily the 5 best shots, but they're the 5 that we chose to give prizes to today. So thank you. This only works, and it only works as a community when you guys are getting involved and sharing your questions and everything. Big thanks to Yobo and also Juan for moderating all of this and sharing all of the comments and everything out. Get your people shots loaded up. They can have been taken at any time. Go on over to mattgranger.com/live and you'll see the details on how to enter them there. And if you want to grab a bargain, I can promise you the sale I have on now is the biggest one of the year. So don't miss out. We've got some crazy deals going on, courses from under $10. Thank you, Stephanie. What do you got on for the weekend?
Work and playing with Lucky. He's like sleeping right now. He's actually been pretty good today, considering how long we went on for. I'm very proud of him.
Work.
Dang.
This is one of our longer shows, but it seemed to flow really well, and that's thanks to everyone's great images. So thank you all. Get involved in the next one, and we will have a Monday Q&A session, so get involved in that one. If you're not already, follow Steph and I both on Instagram, and we'll share a section where you can submit your questions ahead of time, or you can submit them live. And we'll see you on Monday. So those of you in the States, enjoy the long weekend, and everyone else, have a good weekend, and we'll see you Monday night. Ciao.
Yay, bye guys.